Okay, I'm going to try to do a couple of quick tips today. I'm working on a rod for my friend Mark Blaybaum, and he's been waiting a long time for this thing, I think well over a year. You can see his handiwork in the handle. I've already done a weave that I posted online of a walleye in kind of a river scene with rocks and a tree branch. So let's see if I can get closer and get a better look at it. A little crankbait there. There you see the wonderful parts Mark has sent. I put some JTOBs in on the over wraps, the tie-off wraps. And then I decided I'd go ahead and put a nice tiger wrap on. Now one of the tips today is about testing with tiger wraps. I keep telling people to test different colors and see what they come up with. Well, in some cases you don't have the time to make several samples. I ran into that at Healing Waters this year, trying to help the vets learn different techniques in rod wrapping. Anyway, so I kind of come up with this technique. It's a way to test a tiger wrap with different possible combinations. What I've done here is a tiger wrap with 4 colors, kind of a chocolate brown, a black, a tan, and I don't know what you call that, kind of a medium brown. Anyway, both wraps, the under wrap and the over wrap, are the same. I've already done the under wrap, and the over wrap is on there now. But what I did is on each of the threads that I might possibly remove, see the wind's not going to cooperate with me today, I put a little piece of thread under just that one color, and that way I can remove threads instead of all at once. I can move one thread at a time and see what I come up with. If I don't like that, I can move a second thread, and so on and so forth. I kind of want to make it a lighter brown if I can, to match up with the woodwork that he's already done here, the spider thing that he's so well known for. Anyway, and then the other thing I want to kind of just give my tips on is the tie-off wraps and the tucks that we make to hold the threads. Some guys have mentioned they're having trouble with getting them either close or covering them up after they've cut off the tag end of the tuck. So I'm going to try to do both those today, and we'll see how this comes. I'm going to have to position the camera different, and hopefully this will work out. Okay, the first one I'm going to try to do is cut off the tag end with what I call flush cut wire cutters. They, let's see if I can get them close to the camera enough to see. They're not beveled on the ends, they're flush on the back, and it's usually pretty easy to get a real flush cut to the other threads. What I like to do is I like to take the thread that's the tag end, pull it up a little bit. You see the band of threads kind of moves as I do this. So I'm pulling it up to stretch it up. And then I get the flush cut wire cutters right up on the thread. Pull it up, then snip. Now I've got most of it. Then what I like to do is take my burnishing tool. In this case I'm using kind of a pointed one. And first I kind of separate where that thread comes up. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but I'll burnish away from where I just cut that thread. In other words, underneath it, and then I go back over it. And you may not be able to pick it up on the camera because I just can't get this close enough, but it completely covered it. Then I follow the wrap all the way around, and where the tuck is, I kind of push against it, and then I flatten it. just like when I'm flattening stuff on a weave. And it almost takes that tuck out completely. Okay, I'll move over to the other side here in a second and show you what I'm going to do there. Alright, on this end, I'm going to do it more of a traditional way with a razor blade. You see the threads waving in the air here. Those are the 3 threads that comprise 3 of the 4 threads in the Tiger. Then I'm going to take turns removing with this other trick that I'm talking about. So I've got the 3 threads, and what I like to do is I like to take and lift the threads just like I did with the other end. Place the blade flat on the wrap, lift them, and kind of push them towards the razor blade. So there's what I have left. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side, which is basically I'm going to take and put my burnishing tool below it, try to move the threads that are below it first, creating a little bit bigger gap, then go over the top. And all but the little black thread have been covered up. It's almost completely gone there. You can see just a little bit of haze, but that might have been dirt from my hands or me or something. So, those are just a couple of ways that I do the trimming. If any of you out there have other ideas, please show us. Okay, you have, I'm going to see if I can just move the rod instead of the camera all the time here. Here's the 3 threads that I put in on different colors so that I can pull them. It helps me pull the thread up, cut it, so I can do one at a time. In this way, I'll get to see 3 different variations of the wrap. Since I want to try to make it light, the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the black thread. That happens to be this lightest color thread, and as you see, I lift it. See how I lift it there? Oh boy, barely on the camera. Let me rotate the camera down just a hair. Okay. When I lift it, it gives me that black thread, so it's easy to cut. Beats the heck out of trying to grab it with a pick or something. Then when I undo my Tigers, I turn the rod. I don't pull it with the thread. Don't spin it with the thread. Now I'm coming up with a pretty light wrap, but I'm not seeing any Tiger effect yet. I always talk about doing 3 and 4 thread inlays and just leaving one, but I have found that you can get some interesting results with different colors. I don't know if it's going to work with this one, but with different colors, only removing the 1 or 2 of the threads in a 3 or 4 thread inlay Tiger wrap. I've got a nice light color, but it's just not working out for any Tiger design. So I'm going to finish pulling this and then check the next. Okay, I pulled the darkest thread and it just didn't leave me with much of a pattern at all here. Of course, you can't tell 100% because sometimes the patterns don't show up really good until you put finish on. But usually I can see something. In this case, I can't. So I'm going to remove the next darkest thread, trying to stay light, remember? So I'm going to pull up on the medium brown. See how it comes up? And then I cut it. Again, I turn the rod and walk it off the wrap so I don't pull the threads out of alignment. I am seeing something in there. Can't tell what it is yet. I think I'm going to have to go all the way with this one and take all the threads out, but let's see what I get before I decide to do that. I'll look at it in the sun and make my decision then. But it's not very obvious. You can just faintly see something on the camera. It might be okay with finish on it, but first I'm going to remove all the thread and then make my decision. Okay, I've got all the thread off, and this is going to be a really beautiful tiger once I get the finish on it. And of course I'll post pictures of that when I'm done. As you can see, there's some eyes in there. Actually, I have one on each side. Some long, what I call like a peninsula type look on some of it. Not a whole lot of tiger stuff, but then I don't see much tiger stuff when I do 4 threads. There's a little bit right there. That's tigery looking. So, there's a couple of tips. I don't know if they'll do you any good. Just another way of doing things, another way of looking at things. If I come up with any more, or if I run into questions that I think are better answered on video, I'll try to continue to put these things out as long as these old bones can do it. Talk to you later. Have a good day, and go fishing.